accomplish things that may seem big and impossible are not. It gives people that type of energy, that type of power.
Okay, so my thoughts on the Fyre Festival, the infamous Fyre Festival that was supposed to happen in 2017, which promised a luxury concert-going experience, a luxury interactive concert-going experience with high-priced catering and being flown there on private jets and yachts and models cavorting with you, supermodels cavorting with you, swimming pigs on an island that was owned once by Pablo Escobar. Influencers on Instagram. And instead, all these young, millennial, hipster, rich kids got taken for a ride by this con artist. But they weren't the only ones that got taken for a ride. I watched the Netflix documentary about this, and I think they did a pretty good job painting a picture. I don't have Hulu, but I don't want to watch Hulu because Hulu actually paid Billy McFarland to be involved in their documentary. But everybody involved in this thing got taken for a ride, including like event coordinators like Mark Weinstein and the gentleman who had to take one for the team. I forgot his name, but if you've seen the documentary, you know what I'm talking about. This thing was a clusterfuck to begin with. You don't plan something this elaborate in a short amount of time. Everybody was realistic with them that we can get this off the ground in about a year. No, it's got to be in 4 months. What got me when I was watching the documentary about Billy McFarland and Ja Rule, but a lot of the people involved that were also taken for rides said technically Ja Rule got taken for a ride as well. He believed in Billy. So I'll take their word for it. This guy is a con artist, not quite Martin Schiaparelli, whatever his name is, but close. I mean, the idea of going to a concert, a festival with sipping mimosas in the morning, I mean, first off, that thing bothered me to begin with. The whole idea when I saw the promotional trailer with the supermodels cavorting on the beach and B-roll stock footage of concerts, an interactive concert experience is going to be the event of the year. What's more interactive than actually being at a concert? But I'll get to my thoughts on all of that. What nobody knew was how Billy McFarland was defrauding people. How he was conning people out of money. A lot of the organizers, the idea was, you know, there's problems, but we will find solutions. Because, like Mark Weinstein said in a recent interview that I just heard this morning, that's what we do. We've been in the worst situations and we pulled out a miracle. The Woodstock comparisons I don't get, and I'm gonna get to that. This was just a mess. And at first I was kind of like, hey, you're gonna pay, you know, $2,000 or $3,000, however much those ticket prices were with your own private villa as well, whatever package. At first I was like, well, let's serve these people right. You know, you're paying that much money, you know, to see Blink 182, which hasn't been relevant since the 2000s. You know, that's on you. Part of me, though, would hope at the same time, because I now feel sorry for a lot of those kids that were there, that went to this thing with good intentions. So I'm going to have some advice for you guys here in a couple moments. part of me feels sorry for them, and that at some point you have to realize I'm being taken for a ride here. I'm not supposed to bring cash, but I'm supposed to put all my money on this bracelet that first off I have to buy, and then put the money on this bracelet, and it's like a $500 minimum I have to put on this bracelet. What happened to all that money for the bracelets? At some point you have to say to yourself, I'm being taken for a ride here. So this thing has become infamous, the Fyre Festival, and the whole picture of the high-class catering, cheese on, I should say, sweaty processed cheese on toast as the high-priced catering. But not even being able to get those people off the island and back home, because you find out later on he owed money to the people that owned the cruise line, and they were going to take people off the island. They wanted the money right then and there. Well, he promised a wire confirmation. No, because the last wire confirmation, it took us 5 days to get the money, and he provided me a different confirmation number than what was actually listed. So there was stuff like that. That's all fraud. And the fact in the documentary shows even after he went to jail for a couple of days, or had his court hearing and was arrested, he got back into the fraud business again with this VIP ticket sales thing. Does this guy ever learn? Well, he's in jail now, He's in jail now. Now, the comparisons to Woodstock with the Fyre Festival, I don't buy it. Here's why. Woodstock was not sold, first off. It was not sold as a luxury music festival. They sold it as 3 days of peace and music. And basically their idea was to collect tickets. They couldn't get the ticket booths up in time. And the fact is, people started coming very early, before the Friday afternoon when the music was supposed to begin. By Thursday, Michael Lang says in his book, there are about 20,000 kids sitting in the field already, while they're building the stage and everything's not ready. And they did have issues of having to move from one location to the other. And then once people crashed the gates and they couldn't collect the tickets like they were going to, they had to make it a free concert. But they made every consideration for the people. You had people like John Morris and Chipmunk on stage with their stage announcements. Let's keep it together, people, and encouraging people to keep it together. And people were encouraged to help each other. Yes, they ran out of food. That's where the hog farm, Wavy Gravy and his people, got granola and brown rice and were cooking in their area that they occupied and having people go to the forest to get food. And they had enough food there eventually. And also with the hog farm, yes, there were drug things happening. They had a bad trips tent set up for people to go to the trips tent and be talked down from their bad trip, and then they in turn would talk the next person down. So people were helping each other out. But I'm hearing things, people died there. 2 people died at Woodstock. One was an accident. A young kid was sleeping under, and I mean young kid, I'm 46 now, so I'm starting to get to that stage where people in their 20s and teens are young kids now. He was sleeping either next to a trailer or under a trailer to protect himself from rain at night. It was like the first day or second day there. And a farmer whose tractor it was didn't know he was under there and started the tractor, and he got run over or cut up. It was an accident. Tragic, but an accident. And the other one was a drug overdose. So 2 deaths at Woodstock. Yes, we talk about the mudslides happening and stuff like that, but people were having fun. They were trying to make the best of the situation. It was a different time, as opposed to our social media world nowadays. You think young kids, you think people nowadays that were going to the Fyre Fest would want to slide in the mud and whatever else was in the mud too and make the best of a situation? No, we want to be able to take pictures of ourselves in the most beautiful light and post it on Instagram. We have become editors of our own personal lives nowadays thanks to social media, that we don't want to focus on the complicated aspects of our life, but we want to focus on the beautiful aspect. Look at me, I'm having a great time. Click. And I think the Fyre Festival idea has become a microcosm for our social media society nowadays. So I don't buy the comparisons to Woodstock, because it was a different time and people wanted it to work and they made it work. And on top of that, they had acts lined up. The Fyre Festival didn't even have confirmed acts. The main act they had, which was Blink-182, canceled day of festival. They were the only act they really had. They didn't have acts for the days of the festival. They really didn't. They had no top name acts. Where were the festival acts? Where was the Pearl Jam? Where were the big festival acts? And the whole deal is a microcosm, too, of where a lot of the big festivals are at nowadays as well. Coachella started out as a cool hippie festival with indie bands and whatnot, and now they have a VIP section, and it bothers me when I see like big stars like Lea Michele, who used to be on Glee, posting on Instagram her Coachella look, and she's going to be in the VIP L'Oreal section at Coachella, not down on the ground with the hippies, getting in the mud and digging the music. So the Fyre Festival seemed like it was all going to be VIP section. This is to the millennials, the hipsters, the ones that were going to the Fyre Festival. You don't need a luxury experience to have a great time at a concert. If you are going to a concert, and a friend of mine said this in a blog post, if you're going to a concert and you can only do the concert if you have a private masseuse, gourmet catering, and a private villa to yourself, you're doing it wrong. When you're at a concert and you're surrounded by people, that's an interactive experience right then and there. That's your own very own interactive experience. You're there with people who are grooving and dancing to music with a killer band on stage. What more can you ask for? True, you're not drinking Cristal. You're drinking, Bud Light or whatever the hell it is, or craft beers if you're at Pitchfork in Chicago. But you're having an interactive experience being with people. What more interactive do you need? So let's get it together, because you guys are the future. Social media, more than anything, is the cause of Fyre Festival. I do believe social media, or I do believe the Fyre Festival is a microcosm for our social media age. And we need to wake up. We definitely need to wake up. Thank you.